Good morning, children. Today we will start with our next topic, acceptance of election outcome. Today we are going to start the next subheading, acceptance of election outcome. Before this, we have seen popular participation. How the popular participation gives the label of democratic and non democratic to any of the nation. Last topic, that proves that the election in India are democratic, that is acceptance of election outcome. Election outcome means what the result that comes of election, how much it is accepted. This tells that the election were right or wrong. So we will see some points under this topic. The first point is final test is outcome itself. This statement means election final test is its outcome. If the outcome is positive, it is justified, transparent, so automatically it makes election democratic. So people will accept it. The outcome of India's election speaks for itself. This is the second point. The elections that held in India and the result that comes out itself, it proves that elections are done in a right way. So the first point, the ruling parties routinely lose elections in India both at the national and state level. This is the most important point and most valid, that tells that elections are held in right way. Means when party is in power, means the ruling party in elections, we have seen that ruling party continuously lose the elections after some time, and opposition party wins, and opposition party also rule for some time, and after that lose the elections. The party is losing the elections, means the elections held are democratic. So, if the elections are held in a non democratic way, then the ruling party will not lose the elections. So, it's proof that elections held, it is democratic way. If we will see the history of India, we find so many incidents that ruling party lose the elections and opposition party wins the election. Again the opposition party lose the elections and previous party wins the election. It shows that elections are held in a transparent way. So first outcome is result of elections are democratic. The next point is, in the US, an incumbent or sitting elected representatives rarely loses an election. In India, about half of sitting MPs or MLAs lose elections. In US, the sitting incumbent, here incumbent word means that currently holding office, means holding a post, means MPs and MLAs of constituency is called as incumbent because they are in power. In the opposite of incumbent, the member of opposition party fights the election. So incumbent means sitting elected representative. So what happens? In US, this type of incumbent means elected representative. Those who are in power, they rarely lose the elections. It doesn't mean that elections are not democratic there, but the sitting incumbent rarely lose the elections. But in India, every time, whether it is legislative assembly, means Vidhan Sabha elections or Lok Sabha elections, the sitting MPs or MLAs continuously lose the elections. Today, those who are in power, they will lose the next elections. It is possible that their seats their seats will be changed. These things are common. This tells that the elections are democratic. Those who are in power, they are losing the elections. Next point is candidates who are known to have spent a lot of money on buying votes, and those with known criminal connections often lose elections. You have heard that some candidates in elections are very rich. They are active in criminal activities. They can influence the result. They purchase the votes, but it is not compulsory that they will win the elections. Sometimes we have seen that the candidate in opposite is powerful. Suppose there are two parties. The person A is powerful and rich, and person B in his opposition is not much powerful, not having any criminal record, but elections are held and the weak person wins the election. This tells that money and power does not makes us to win elections. Popular support makes win the elections. The votes makes us win election. The last point is bearing very few disputed elections, the electoral outcomes are usually accepted as people's verdict by the defeated party. You have heard all these things at the time of elections, means the party which is defeated in the election, it is not there that they become angry or they say that take the elections again. Defeated party accept the verdict of election, means whatever the result is there, they accept as people's verdict, they accept as opinion of the public in whole country is accepted by winning party and defeated party. All these things we have seen in acceptance of elections outcomes. These outcomes make our country democratic. So next our main topic is this is the last topic of the lesson, challenges to free and fair elections. We will start this topic with some of the questions. What are these questions? So the questions are, do people have the correct knowledge that how to choose correct leader? Are the voters getting a real choice? Is election really level playing field for everyone? Can an ordinary citizens hope to win elections? This kind of questions comes in your mind, and these questions shows us a direction that elections in India are democratic, but there are some challenges, some limitations. So what are the limitations and challenges? The limitations and challenges of Indian elections are, first is candidates and parties with a lot of money may not be sure of their victory, but they do enjoy a big and unfair advantage over smaller parties and independents. The candidates or parties having lot of money, it is not there that because of money they will win. They are not sure of their victory, means they win but relatively they enjoy the advantage. How? Suppose there is a rich candidate, that candidate will use lot of money in election campaign. He will join the people with him. He or she will purchase the vote by using money power. He will afraid the opposition candidate. How he will make afraid? He will tell the candidate that see our rallies, see our way of selection campaigning. From all this, he influence the people towards him. Relatively, he enjoy the advantage over the small parties and small candidates. The biggest limitation is use of money and muscle power. Those who are having lot of money can take the unfair advantage. In constitution, it is not given. It is not guaranteed that rich candidate will win the elections but can enjoy the advantage. Next point is candidates with criminal connection have been able to push others out of the electoral race and to secure a ticket. In the election, many candidates fill the form to get the allocation to become the part of the party. Suppose there is criminal living in your neighbor, he also nominate to get the ticket of the party, and party will give only one ticket. So to whom the party will give the ticket? It depends on that who is more influential and powerful. What happens when the candidate with criminal connection push others away from electoral race and purchases the ticket from money and power? So the next challenge is some families tend to dominate political parties. You have observed that many parties in our country in that dynastic rule is going on. Some family, some same caste or same family members dominate. What happens if same family members dominate? They give tickets to their family members or their relatives. That party becomes family party. So this is also a big challenge. So next challenge is elections offer little choice to ordinary citizens. Means parties have no major difference. Means previously also we have seen that the political parties are having their ideological or the core ideas or core issues. So elections offer little choice to ordinary citizens means whatever the party is in our country, there is no major ideological difference. Every party has core issues. Core issues means if the party wins, then what will be the core issues? We don't have variety of choices. We don't have options. All parties bring the plans and policies are same. Means the plans and policies brought by the parties are same. Some says yes, some says no. So there is no major difference. Therefore ordinary citizens are not getting variety of choices. So our last point is smaller parties and independent candidates suffer a huge disadvantage compared to bigger parties. Means what happens if small parties has to be in the elections? They have to be stable themselves. They have to fight with full power. But when issue comes about big parties, the big parties dominate the small parties. The small parties cannot get much chances because of money and power in front of big parties. So there will be there. So these were all challenges to free and fair elections. Okay, here the our chapter ends, and in the next video we will start with our new chapter, working of institutions. Okay children.